Yeah, I wanted to take a break from Rivals today just because I saw, after I went off stream last night, I saw the most beautiful sight. The January 1st. Hang on, let's see if can I even be heard. Yes, I can be heard. Nice. I saw the most beautiful sight. I saw the January 1st wave of Lego Marvel 2026 sets, which, I mean, I've spoke about it a little bit more recently, but I'm a massive Lego fan. Particularly the main themes I collect are Lego Marvel and Star Wars. However, I'm going to be honest, the Star Wars theme this year has been absolutely disgusting. Like, I've been appalled by the lack of Star Wars sets, or the lack of good Star Wars sets. Let me just clarify that, because this year, right, 2025, 10 years ago, we got Star Wars: The Force Awakens, the start of the sequel trilogy. It was the first Star Wars film since, ironically, the one I'm about to talk about. It didn't age well, because obviously the sequel trilogy didn't get the best rep. There was a lot of stupid decisions made for, those films. Part of it did feel... I mean, I enjoyed watching each of them in the cinema, but I just don't think they aged well. But the film that also celebrates quite a significant anniversary this year, Revenge of the Sith. That is my favourite film in the franchise. I watch it... I'll admit, I haven't actually watched it this year, but for about, 3 years straight, I was watching it at least twice a year. I love that film. I actually am looking forward to going back and watching it. I just want to find a good reason to, because I missed the 20th anniversary. I was going to go see it in cinema, I won't lie, but without going into too much, my personal circumstances weren't great. I was dealing with a lot, so I just didn't get around to seeing it. However, it is my mission at some point to go and see Revenge of the Sith, whether that is in 2 years for the 50th anniversary. I'm kind of hoping that all films get re-released, because I'd love to go see Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi in the cinema. I'd actually give up. I'd probably give up a 2027 new release just to see that. Definitely not Secret Wars, because I know that's coming out at the end of 2027. But I'd love to see Revenge of the Sith in the cinema. But besides the point, what the hell has Lego done for that? Because they've done celebration sets for... I think they did it for the Phantom Menace. They re-released it. Well, the Phantom Menace was kind of a one-hit one, because they had an amazing year in 2024 with the 25 years of Lego Star Wars. They had an incredible year. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get any of the sets I really wanted. I'll tell you, no, I got one. I got it as a Christmas gift, and I absolutely loved it. It was the R2-D2 set. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. Came with Darth Malak from the Old Republic. It was such a good set, and I had a lot of fun building it at the start of the year. 2024 had some good sets. I actually do want to pick up one, just because it'd be the only one I think I can afford. The Ahsoka Tano Duel and Peridia, the little diorama. I love dioramas. One of my favourite sets. Some of my favourite sets actually are dioramas. But unfortunately, one of my absolute favourite Star Wars sets, and it's only a cheap one, I got it for my 17th birthday, back when I was just starting to get back into Lego. It's the Duel of Mustafar. They came out with an amazing set, but, I was kind of hoping they'd remake it for this year, because I don't actually have that set with me anymore, or at least built, and I don't have all the pieces to put it back together. Because I went to uni, I moved, and it was just sad times. But at the same time, there were some amazing sets that came out in 2024, and particularly around the prequel era. And this year, we've had a couple of overpriced Clone Wars sets. We did get a very good Clone Wars set with the is it the U-Torrent, the V-Torrent? I forget which one it is. But it came with General Kenobi in his clone armor, which that's my go-to Obi-Wan suit in Battlefront 2. Haven't actually played Battlefront 2 in ages, I can't lie. I was just really disappointed by what we got this year for Lego Star Wars. Lego Marvel, on the other hand, I think have had a pretty good year. They've had a few sets which, you know, didn't hit as well. One of them I did buy, and I can't lie, I loved it. I bought a couple of sets from this year. The first one I bought was the Marvel logo. I bought that on New Year's Day. Just literally as the clock turned midnight, I bought the set. I love the set. I've made an amazing display for it. Then I bought the Iron Man and Ultron mech. I do kind of regret it, but I did want an Ultron minifig and a comic book Iron Man, so not the smartest move for buying Lego there if you're just buying it for minifigs, but at the same time I wanted it. So, and to be fair, the mechs are normally quite cheap. You're normally getting them like Sainsbury's or B&M for like sometimes less than a tenner. It's actually quite amazing like how fast they go on sale. Probably because no one buys them, or they're not as well bought, or they're very like limited. I'm pretty sure the mechs are primarily targeted towards the age range, which I think is like 7+ or something. But I'm gonna change. Actually, no, I'll leave Iron Man doing for a while. But yeah, then I bought the Spider-Verse set. Now the Spider-Verse set I was very excited by when I first saw it, because one, it's the first it was the first set that was ever made on the Spider-Verse movies, and I love both of them. Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse are two of the best animated films I've ever seen, and quite possibly, if Beyond the Spider-Verse lives up to the expectations, it could be one of the greatest animated trilogies I've ever seen. You know, I just think that both those films were absolutely phenomenal, and I was so happy when they brought out the Spider-Verse CMF series this year. A lot of S's there. I feel horrible for someone saying that with a lisp. But yeah, I got that set. What else did I... Hello, Godfather of Soaps. Hope you're doing okay, mate. Hope you're doing alright, man. What else did I get? I got the Fantastic Four one, and I got the Spider-Man 2 set, which I was absolutely buzzed by when I saw it. The Fantastic Four one's a little bit disappointing, but I was just happy to finally get them. Finally get a set of, you know, because this game in particular is one of the reasons why I always wanted a Fantastic Four Lego set. And now we finally have it. It could be better, but I still love it. Godfather of Soaps, I hope you're doing okay, mate. I thought I'd hop on again tonight, as I had quite a productive day today. So I thought, no, sod it. I feel like I've earned the... I'm not sure if I'm going to stream for too long tonight, but at the same time I'm just kind of rolling with it. Apparently there is a sleep stream happening over on Callum's Corner, and normally they're quite funny. I think I'm going to spam post today because I'm quite busy this upcoming week. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, to be fair. I feel like if you spam posting, you're kind of getting all your content. You're getting as much content out as you can before you got to take some time out, so that way... And at the same time, I feel like you don't always have to watch everything the minute it comes out. You can give something, like, I don't know, like a day or two until you're ready to watch it and, like, appreciate it in its full glory. So I think that's a solid idea. Back when I used to do YouTube, do YouTube regularly, I used to get all the Telltale fight scenes out, like literally just after I finished playing them, like playing the episodes. I'd go up there, edit the videos. Well, I started editing the videos quite late into the game of like making the videos, but at the same time, it was one of them where as soon as I started putting more effort in, I was like, okay, this is actually quite fun. But even then, it wasn't like I was being lazy. It was more like I just didn't know how to do it, but I then actually took the time to learn how to edit the videos better, and just it became really fun. And I do kind of miss it, but at the same time, I'm not really interested in going back and replaying the Telltale games again just to get them on my PS5, bearing in mind I burn up storage on this thing just by making Marvel Rivals clips, and I'm a annoying twat, and I don't delete them. So I never have space for them. But I think if Wolf Among Us 2 ever comes out, I'm kind of giving up on that game now, because they dropped the trailer in, I think it was 2021. They dropped the trailer, and there's been nothing on it since. And obviously, like, that was nearly 5 years ago. So, yeah, I know Wolverine is only just, after being announced for 4 years, finally just dropped the trailer, but they've pushed the game back like 6 times now. I'm like, at this point, yeah, some of our videos. Some of the videos are days old because Elle was feeling under the weather too. Bless her. I hope she's feeling better, mate. I can't lie. The weather has been absolutely awful, so I can understand how that might play on kids' immune systems. Particularly things like places are gonna be a lot more busier because like Halloween coming up, and now we're in November, so Christmas shopping's gonna be popping up. It's like it's just a nightmare. I do hope she feels better soon, mate. And I do hope yourself and your partner are like safe when looking after her, because it can be a nightmare. I remember when my mum was caring for me when I was little. Yeah, she just tanked through it, but I could see like towards. Because I remember thanks mate, no problem, bud, no problem. I caught shingles when I was very little, and I was very poorly with it. I remember I was bedridden for like a week, and I was like 8 years old. It was horrible. But my mum, bless her, she absolutely powerhoused it. My dad helped out as well, but this was like just a couple months after they split, so it was like I was still kind of getting used to being with one parent and then being with another. But my mum, bless her, was absolutely exhausted. She never admitted it, but I could see she was absolutely exhausted towards the end of it. And to be fair, I'm surprised she didn't get like run down with something herself while she was looking after me, because I was not well. Yeah, it was all. I'm surprised it didn't end up in hospital, but I managed to just power through it. Little 8-year-old. Oh, hang on, was I 8 or was I 9? Yeah, no, I would have been 9. My apologies. Yeah, I'd have been 9. Yeah, because I turned 8 the year before my mum and dad. Yeah, and I turned 9 the year they did. Yeah. So yeah, I do hope all goes well. But on the bright side, at least this is my sort of outlook. If you get ill now, you're likely not going to be ill for Christmas, which is probably the worst time to get ill in my opinion. Because with Christmas, like you've got everyone makes plans for it, and then like if someone's not well, particularly a child and a young child that's still developing, you've got to ask yourself, oh, is it worth having people over while she's not well? Is that gonna risk making it worse? Or it's just those common kind of dilemmas. So in a way, with the weather being as stupid as it is, I feel like there's small, like you might find small mercies. But hopefully she'll be recovering soon, because I don't like hearing little kids not being well. It's not fair on them, bless them. Like, it's the same with my mate. My mate's got one of my best friends has a little boy, and whenever I hear that he's ill or he's under the weather, I feel horrible. Like, because us as adults, we're supposed to we're supposed to be able to take it and deal with it. But kids, it's like they're still developing, so when they're not doing okay, it's just, it's not nice at all. But hopefully she'll be alright before Christmas. I can't lie. I saw the January wave last night, and oh, why has he gone through the building? That's horrible. That. I'm quite safe to say I won't be buying every set. I mean, I can't. I'm a student, and I'm in my last year of uni. It's like I want to be able to come out with a little bit in my pocket, just so I'm not absolutely skint again. But that Spider-Man 3 set with Venom and Sandman, that has got my name all over it. 20 quid. 20 quid. Normally, I have to wait to get sets on discount, because I'm sorry, but the RRP is just ridiculous. Like, the amount of times where I've seen an amazing set at a disgusting price, Uni's a pain in the arse for me. Oh, bless. Is there anything you need to vent about, mate? Because I am here, like, you know, to listen. You know, like, genuinely. Because I get it. You know, I get it. I've been in uni for 2 years and a bit, and now I'm restarting my third. Well, I say restart. I was just cracking on with third year now. I'm at the point where I've done more this year than I did last year before I left. So you know, I'm just cracking on with third year now. But I do get it. Like I moved there as well, so I kind of got like that full sort of experience, if you want to call it that. So yeah, anything you want to vent about, mate, I am here. But yeah, where is Venom? That Spider-Man 3 set is coming home with me. Maybe not day one, I don't know. To be honest, I would rather build it at my hometown than build it down here. Because I built the Avengers Endgame diorama and I love it. I absolutely love that set. But it's going to be, and I bought both. I bought the main set and the expansion, and it's going to be a nightmare to take home. I know I'm going to have to rebuild it. And I know people say, oh, it's Lego, you can always yeah, but when pieces go missing, it's like it's not the complete set. And that's something that always bothers me. Like, if it's not the complete set, I don't want it out on display. I want it exactly how I built it and how it, you know, because I want my money's worth, you know what I mean? But for £20, you get the classic Tobey Maguire Spider-Man suit, which granted I do have 2 of, but I will never say no to a third. In fact, what I might do is I might just stick a Peter Parker. Oh, I've already done that with the train one. I'll figure it out. But the Topher Grace Venom, a movie Venom, that's right, like an actual movie Venom, not just the same Venom we've been getting for like 6-7 years now. And also a Sandman that's supposed to be Topher Grace's. Now, we did get a buildable one in the No Way Home diorama expansion set, but at the same time, it's just a lot going on. I hear you, man. I hear you. Like, obviously, if it's anything personal, then please let me know, and please let me know if you want to talk about it privately, because I don't want to, you know, risk, you know, someone sharing information they don't want being out there. So yeah, if you ever do need to talk, I am always about, like, because I do genuinely care about the people who watch not only my videos but the people who watch the soap community. You know, it's the reason why I'm subscribed to like 4 or 5 different channels that might actually post the same video at the exact same time. Like, it's quite funny how many times that happens, and I watch all the videos. Like, I you know, it sounds crazy, but I don't watch them for the videos, I watch them for the people. Like, I genuinely care about this community. A couple of strange characters in it, I can't lie. I'm not going to mention names, but a couple of strange folk. But the majority is just amazing. Like, because it's people that understand, it's people that get it. You know, you get a lot of people who might give you thanks a ton anytime, honestly, anytime, mate. And I do hope that these streams can provide just a little bit of you know, downtime and just a little bit of time just to sit and relax and watch me make a twat of myself, because I'm pretty good at that. I'm actually, despite the fact I'm doing a degree in acting, I actually don't need any sort of formal training to look like a twat. I just do it. I just do it perfectly. It's like my unique selling point, as they call it. Sorry, that might be a bit much in the self-deprecating humour, but at the same time, I'd rather laugh at myself than be laughed at. So it's one of those. But yeah. I love the fact that we are now getting smaller dioramas, because ever since the No Way Home one and the first Endgame one with the like the A-Force-esque scene where it was all the female Avengers, which, by the way, I don't want to hear any slander about that scene. It was 5 seconds. If 5 seconds offends someone, if 5 seconds of strong, independent women offends people, then I've got no hope for the world, because I thought it was cool. I thought it was a nice little payoff, a nice little homage to the women of the MCU. It was like, if that's such a big deal, then just get in the bin, because that, in my opinion, is incel and virgin behavior. Sorry, I could have an entire rant about the response to that scene alone, because the amount of times I've seen people complain about that scene when it was literally like not even 5 seconds. I'd say maybe like, all right, maybe between 5 to 10 seconds. But the amount of backlash that scene gets in Endgame, I'm like, what? That is ridiculous. Like, that's actually ridiculous. I mean, they made an entire Lego set out of it, so, you know, I think A for effort. It was a cool set. I didn't buy it at the time just because, I'm not going to lie, I wanted the No Way Home one more, and sometimes you've got to make choices when you can't just buy everything at once. It's like, it's a cool set. And then obviously the other Endgame diorama that came out this year and also had that little expansion battle pack with it. I bought them both, built them both in the same night, and I loved it. Loved it. I did change out Captain America and I upgraded Iron Man a bit, but I love it. But getting smaller dioramas, I think, is the right way, because I just feel like if you're constantly doing big, epic, action-packed dioramas, you kind of alienating the fans of the hobby that can't. That's so cool, mate. Yeah, I agree, man. Thank you. I just feel like you might alienate the hobby if you're constantly dedicating towards big, you know, expensive sets. I'm like, think about the budget-friendly side of the hobby, because I feel like it shouldn't be a case of, and I'm referring to Lego here, but I'm saying this is in general. A hobby, you shouldn't lose interest in a hobby simply out of the fact you can't afford it. I don't think that's fair at all. A hobby, in my opinion, should be accessible across various ways. You know, and I just feel like, particularly with Lego, it's such a good, like, particularly for adults, like, it's such a good way to just wind down and not think about stuff. It shouldn't come at a high price. Yeah, obviously you get the big sets. They have to make the big sets. Now, arguably, the big sets are the best. Like, my most wanted set, what most wanted sets are the modular Avengers Tower and Daily Bugle. Unfortunately, the Daily Bugle is probably never going to happen, because it retires at the end of the year. We're in November now, so... And I haven't got the space nor the money to source a Daily Bugle. My only hope is that they might go on set. There might still be some knocking around on Smiths by the time I graduate and I can afford it. But if not, oh well, it's one of them. But like a hobby, in my opinion, there shouldn't be any room for alienation in a hobby. Like whether it's working out, you know, I feel like gym memberships, I feel like sometimes you might get them too expensive. If you can get them on a deal, right, go for it. I think, you know, gym memberships particularly, obviously if going out and drinking is a hobby, then fair enough, but that should be more of a just do it at a safe pace. You know, if a hobby's dangerous, then I'm not going to judge, but at the same time, I'm not going to be surprised if something bad happens. You know, it's my style. And I used to think going out was my hobby. It's not. I went out with the wrong people, and I realized very quickly that I hated it with a passion. It's just nothing but drama, nothing but, you know. That's just me. That is. I don't want to kind of swerve people's opinions based on my experiences. That's not fair. But that's my sort of stance on going out drinking. I might go out to next week, but bearing in mind I don't go out much anymore. So the less I go out, the more I enjoy it when I do, if that makes sense. I probably sound very contradictory here, and I don't mean to, but it's just kind of my sort of outlook on things. Like, I'd rather enjoy something in the moment than make it a constant and start to resent it. Yeah, it's why you know, it's kind of like that when it comes to like places I go or like food that I eat, because I'm a massive foodie, I can't lie, but I don't like to eat the same food at the same place over and over again. I'd rather kind of spice it up a little bit. Not literally, I'm a little bitch when it comes to spice. Wow, all the whole I'm not going to swear on the channel. That's gone to pot, hasn't it? At least we're not coming out with some like overly strong terms. I feel like there's a line. There's a line between what's funny and what's just stupid. But yeah, where was I going? Yeah, the smaller dioramas. They've got two, and I want them both, but I'm going to prioritise the Spider-Man 3 one, because obviously Spider-Man 3, it's not perfect, but it's a great movie, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching Spider-Man 3 with my cousin and my brother. I remember my cousin lives further up, not too far away, about an hour on the bus. But I never went to his house often. It was normally he'd come down, him and his mum would come down and see like me and my brothers. But one of the few times we went to his house, we watched Spider-Man 3, and this is like, it's not like 2007 time, because I was very young back then. I don't actually remember much of 2007. The only thing I can actually remember is my brother being born in 2007. But I remember it was like 2009, 2010, and me, my brother, and my cousin, we were at my cousin's place, and we were just watching Spider-Man 3. I think we were watching Spider-Man 3, and he also had the game, the Spider-Man 3 game, or it was a Spider-Man game, I think. I think it was Spider-Man 3, but it was just really fun. Like, it was actually the first time I'd even seen Spider-Man 3, because I'd seen the first two like 1,000 times because we had them on DVD, but Spider-Man 3 was the one film we never actually owned on DVD. Like, if I wanted to watch it, I'd have to borrow it off my cousin. I actually remedied that this year. That was quite a magical moment. Well, I say I did. My granddad, because him, much like myself, we like to collect like, you know, copies of like physical media of DVDs and Blu-rays that we grew up watching, and he got me Spider-Man 3 on a really good deal. I was like, Granddad came in clutch. But yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. So to finally have a Lego set of that as well and it be a diorama, I just think like, wow. And it's such a cool concept, like the epic moments and the epic battle collection. I think that's such a cool idea. And I really hope it continues. I really hope it does, because there's been a couple of things that have come out from Lego Marvel that have been really successful. Some of which have been quite, you know, bad. I think the mechs have been the worst. The mechs are like... the mechs are like a bad smell that just won't go away. You know, they've got to have something for younger audiences. Stalking your channel is quite fun, mate. I'm glad. I've got a couple of videos that I'm really proud of from over the years. Some I'm very embarrassed by, but at the same 2016 videos there. Yes, 2016 was my first full year on YouTube. I started out in April 2015. And I started making videos in 2016. Bearing in mind I was very young. I once got annihilated because I got an EastEnders theory wrong. It was actually really funny. It was like, I could still see dislikes at the time. I had like 17 dislikes and like 2 likes because I got a theory wrong. It was during Grant Mitchell's 2016 comeback. Thing is, I saw a scene in the trailer of Phil going up to Grant with a baseball bat, right? And I thought, I didn't actually pay much attention. This is my fault. It's my fault. I probably should have watched it a few more times before making the video. But I thought Phil was threatening Grant, right? Because we didn't know that... I mean, we knew Ben was being kidnapped, but I didn't think that was going to happen before, you know, that scene. Obviously it did, but the amount of people that rinsed me for it was incredible. It was really funny, I can't lie, because I thought Phil was threatening Grant with a baseball bat, and he wasn't. But I kind of slowed down making EastEnders videos a bit after that, because I just thought, wow, people have taken this way too seriously. And I was like 13 back then, so I was a little shit. I've just sworn. I was a cocky little bugger. Well, I wasn't. Depended who. I'd never be cocky to my family, but people online, I was like, pretty bad digital footprint, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm not proud of it, but at the same time, it was one of those where I got a theory wrong, and it was never let down. And obviously, since then, I thoroughly enjoyed what happened. And if I'm going to be honest, I do think that was the better, you know, between Grant's comeback this year and the 2016 one. I just thought the 2016 one was better. I feel like Grant was a little bit dismissive of Phil's, you know, struggles, and I was kind of disappointed. I know a lot of people were crying because he didn't hit anyone. I'm like, right, okay, I get it. Grant's back. We want him to have fights, but do you remember, like, you know, the story reason for why he's back? Yeah, I know it's the 40th anniversary. Ross Kemp was doing a documentary, and they asked him to, you know, come back and like blah 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 blah. But what's more important, right? From a real life perspective, what's more important? Being there for your brother, who is suicidal, who has attempted to take his own life twice, and is quite frankly dealing with the fallout of a massive mental breakdown, like, or kicking the crap out of someone. What's more important? Like, I love a fight scene as much as the next person, but I just think that the whole point of Grant being there was to support Phil. I will say, I think the acting was never that serious, to be honest. Yeah, it was one of those things where I just saw people crying constantly, and I'm just thinking, like, are you watching the show? Like, are you actually watching the show, or are you just skimming through all of Grant's scenes? Like, I don't know. It was one of those things where I found it really cringy when I saw people moaning about it, because you look at the actual storyline that's being played out there, and I'm like, well, that's his point of being there, is not to... I do think it would have been funny seeing him, you know, smack Teddy across the face, but at the same time, I don't think it was the end of the world, the fact that never happened. I don't know. That's just my stance on it, really. I feel like it was very dramatized, that whole thing. But at the same time, I do kind of hope that Grant does come back. Kind of go on an EastEnders ramble here. I just think that for a character, so I don't ever see him coming back full time. I think, you know, it's pretty clear the actors like Ross Kemp, Danny Dyer, what other big names can I think of? Michael French, David Wicks. Is it Michael French who plays him? Feel free to correct me. They're iconic characters. You know, Mick Carter, Grant Mitchell, David Wicks. But they just won't come back full time. It's as simple as that. Like, it won't happen. However, I do kind of hope that if they do come back, make the most use out of them. I feel like Ross Kemp's acting outside of the scenes with Phil wasn't, you know, at its strongest, and that's not a criticism against Ross Kemp. I just feel like, you know, it's such a difficult thing when you're doing these week-long returns. I kind of felt the same with Chrissy Watts, because what tends to happen with these like cameo comebacks or like week-long returns is that it tends to be more of a quick nostalgia fest than an actual storyline purpose. Like, because the whole thing of you know, Chrissy being in the same prison as Sharon, okay, it made sense because of the fact that Chrissy went to prison after Den's death. But at the same time, the whole dialogue exchange, the whole exchange between Sharon and Chrissy was more of just a nostalgic recitation of the past. I'm like, alright, I get it, you're approaching the 40th, but also what's the point here? Like, what is the actual point of this story, of this scene? And I just feel like a lot of that was the case with Grant as well. I do hope he comes back for Nigel's passing, because Nigel is Grant's best mate, and Phil has been caring. Obviously, I do hope Danny Dyer comes back eventually. I think it's possible. I don't think it'll be for a long time. I genuinely don't think it'll be for a while. I think we'd be lucky if we got it in the next 2 years. Considering that Danny Dyer has been committed to Rivals on Disney Plus, highly recommend that, and Mr. Big Stuff on Sky. I think it's Sky. I saw the first season. I still haven't seen the second season yet. Don't kill me. I'm working on it. But whilst he's still committed to doing those projects and other things, like obviously he's come back to do films. I watched Marching Powder this year. That was amazing. Honestly, I think comedy is where it's at now for Danny Dyer. I think the Hardman image was good whilst it lasted, but since leaving EastEnders, I think he's worked much better in comedic performances than he has dramatic ones. I don't know. I just feel like it brought a new lease of life into Danny's career. Or at least his acting repertoire. He's so good at comedy, it's actually insane. And Marching Powder was effing hilarious. But I do hope he comes back. I really hope Danny Dyer comes back. I have kind of thought about the story and how it makes sense. If you watch Talking Walford, I think the channel, or either Talking Walford or Watching Walford, they came out with an excellent theory video as to how Mick could be reintegrated into the show and have it make total sense, have it make total, you know, have it like completely fit in continuity with the show and, you know, the storylines of the Carters. And I feel like the only way you're really gonna get Danny Dyer back on EastEnders is if somehow Dominic Treadwell Collins came with him, which I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's very unlikely. The one time we got it was, I think, with John York. I think he was the showrunner in the I think in the early 2000s. Obviously, he came back in 2017, 2018, which arguably I thought brought some great storylines. And I really like the grittiness of the Mick and Stewart feud, but I think Dominic Treadwell Collins, you know, he was the one who created the Carter family. He was there when Shirley was brought in. He was there when, you know, he created the Carters. He actually modelled the Carters off his own parents. Hence why, for at least during his tenure, there was no kind of cheating or infidelity. I just feel like the only way Danny will come back is if Treadwell was involved. But I do think it's possible. If you get someone that actually understands how to write for the characters and not just use the celebrity status for some bullcrap storyline, because I feel like that's what happened a bit with particularly Danny's work as Mick. It kind of felt like oh, we've got Danny Dyer on the show, let's write a storyline for Danny Dyer. Whereas, you should really be thinking, well, what's a good story for the character? And I think they kind of they got it right with the abuse storyline in during the COVID years. And that's why it's my favourite, because it felt like a Mick storyline. It didn't feel like a Danny Dyer story. It felt like a storyline that detailed such a serious issue, honestly, respectfully, compassionately, and it did it with so much care and precision. It didn't just feel like another Danny Dyer gangster flick, which is what I do think. Whilst I enjoyed Mick and Stuart, there were some elements of that seeping in, and with the Aiden story, I think there was a little bit of kind of play into Danny's strengths there. And I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, I really did enjoy it, but at the same time, it's like it kind of breaks the facade a little bit, if that makes sense. Like, it just kind of feels like I'm watching a Danny Dyer. Danny Dyer should come back and as Mick having these. Yes, I've been seeing that a lot, I completely agree. I feel like you've got to kind of, as time further passes, you've got to write the amnesia more carefully. I think a good one would be to have, this is not an original idea, this is from watching Wolford, but I think with having him have amnesia but also be captured by like Aunt Babe, I just think if you justify it, you can make the time between his exit and a possible return make more sense. And also, I feel like you've got to integrate Shirley into that as well. You've got to kind of, I feel like you can't just bring Mick back. You can't. Because if you do, you're still leaving a thousand questions open. And I just think that, you know, the more you kind of write yourself into a corner, the less impactful the comeback story is going to be. So if they write him back, I feel like you've got to somehow incorporate Shirley into it, incorporate, you know, the Carter kids, you know, Nancy, Frankie, Lee. I know Johnny's already on the show at the moment and hopefully sticks around, because I like Johnny, I can't lie, I quite like this Johnny. And I'm very controversial at the moment given the Callum thing, but I do quite like this version. He would have a proper seizure sent to Wolford Hospital where Linda calls him. That would be a good one. That would be a good one. Because that kind of ties back to Nancy as well, with her epilepsy. And Shirley comes back. Yeah, that would be a good one. I think as long as they do it and they have it make sense. I kind of thought that Mick has amnesia. And, alright, this is a stupid one, but he'll probably be homeless as well. That would make sense, I think. Or unless Aunt Babe is still kicking about and, you know, captures him, then the whole lot comes back. Yeah, I want to see a Carter revival. In fact, I'm going to throw something out there. I want to see a Carter versus Branning family feud. I want to see a proper one. Because there's a lot of bad blood between both families. We've had the Brannings versus the Beals, the Brannings versus the Mitchells. We've kind of had a little bit of Branning versus Carter. And the second episode, Mick hits a doctor trying to... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hopefully it's one of those scenes where it's like... It's done out of desperation and not out of, like, anger or something. Because I feel like Mick wouldn't just flat out smack a doctor for the sake of it. But at the same time, I do feel like if it was a case of he was having a bit of a, you know, a bit of a breakdown, not knowing where he is, that is quite likely to happen. You know, him hitting a doctor in the face. I just think it'll be really, really good storytelling to bring Mick back. I kind of hope that they do it, and they do it whilst Jake Wood is still on the show. He was having a break. Yeah, that would make sense. I do think it would be amazing to revisit the Mick versus Max feud, because I love Danny Dyer, I love Jake Wood, and they both have such an amazing on-screen chemistry as rivals and as enemies. I just think it makes sense. I don't think he would have much feats early enough, for instance, he's trying to get his memory back. Yeah, and also another thing to consider with like a comeback is with Mick. Danny Dyer, fair play to him. I think he's in his late 40s now. If he doesn't come back for a couple of years and he comes back in his 50s, he's going to start slowing down a bit. Hopefully, he's taking care of himself. He can still do the things that he wants to do. But at the same time, I just think, like, I consider it a blessing with the likes of Scott Maslin and Steve McFadden whenever they've delivered a fight scene of any sort. Because Scott Maslin, he's been in the show nearly 20 years. He's in his 50s now. He still takes amazing care of himself, so he can still perform the highly physically intensive stuff. Steve McFadden has had over 30 years of delivering as Phil Mitchell. Write me up, BBC. Yeah, I do think you are too good for the BBC, though. Far too good, honestly. One, you actually think about stuff, and you put the effort into the storyline, and two, it's the BBC, isn't it? It's the bloody BBC. I hope they get their stuff sorted out. Without getting political, never been much of a fan of the royal family, but with the recent news this week, and I'm not going to say what it is, just because I don't want to get attacked by the government or something. But a little bit of respect for him. I hope the BBC follow suit. If I would run EastEnders, I'll change the whole lot. I think that's what's needed. I think we need someone that's actually willing to write good, which, to be fair, both of the pitches you've given, particularly with your with the Kane pitch, the Kane Gallagher pitch. Sorry, that was pitch. I said the Kane Gallagher pitch. You think things through, and that's what I feel like is missing on the show. The best work EastEnders does is the ones that they're thought out through a year in advance before they even start, and they don't announce it either. I remember with the with Ben's abuse storyline in 2022, they thought it through like 18 months before the announcement, so they thought it through during COVID, and the execution of that was really good because they thought it through and they did the work and did the research as well. And I just think that was something I would bring back. Mick, Shirley and the whole Carter family for his Anesia storyline. We get hospital sets built. I think to have it make sense, you would definitely need to do it in a different hospital to Walford General, because that is like the in-universe hospital that everyone goes to. I would add my Gallagher family in that. Yes, that'd be a good one. We need more. I think we are due for another new family. I think now that the Taylor family have gone, all of them. I think we are and the Knight family is beginning to shrink with Anna leaving and now Junior leaving. What a fumble that was. I'm actually quite gutted because when I first saw them, I was quite excited, but I just don't think they've landed. I think they had a great 6 months, and a good start to 2024, but after Christmas this year, and especially after them losing the Vic, wasn't Freddie supposed to leave? Do you know what? I think what's probably going to happen is Freddie and Anna will probably leave together. Like, I reckon they'll get the 2016 Nancy and Tamwa exit where they'll just go travelling, or the Bex exit where she just went travelling. I feel like younger characters, it's quite easy just to say, oh yeah, they're going to go travelling, see the world. I feel like it's a very predictable but also reasonable exit storyline for particularly younger characters, which I do think the show is struggling with at the moment. I can't lie. I don't think it's good when half the younger characters you just want to, drop kick them. But having them go off and travel. Like, I feel like you could give that exit story to any of them and it would make sense. You know, Lily wants to travel and go see her mum in Brazil. Amy, she wants to get out of Walford and all the pain and the trauma she's had since he's lived there. Ricky wants to go off and see his mum. The sky's the limit. You know, it's always comes down to, I want to get out of here. I want to go find myself abroad, and it's such a standard exit storyline for younger characters. And I suppose, whilst it isn't a bad thing, I do think it's kind of lazy at times. Excuse me, I am going to have a drink. I'm going to move my mic away so I don't hear glug 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 glug. I really dislike Anna. I remember her brother playing loud music despite Ollie being autistic and not liking it. Yeah, that pissed me off a little bit, I can't lie. Gina's reaction to that I thought was disgusting. Because Linda had been like, look, he's autistic. And I was like, oh, bless. It did kind of feel a bit condescending, if you ask me. It's like I've never heard of autism before. I'm like, surely you've heard of it. And then Gina put it back up to the music it was on. And I just thought, like, how evil can you be? And Gina, to be honest, it's taken me a long time to find any enjoyment out of Gina. It was backhanded. Yeah, that was, very backhanded, response. Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, the Cindy thing as well, with the whole Cindy's actually their mum. I kind of saw it coming when it was announced that Cindy was coming back with Ian. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like it makes any difference, because there's hardly any other scenes between Cindy, Gina and Anna, and all the time it's just Cindy crying about Anna being with Bobby, even though Bobby had reformed. When Gina punched Ian, delivered that cringy line, I couldn't get used to it. Yeah, she went full Will Smith, didn't she? Keep my sister's name out your mouth. Yeah, she went all Will Smith, and I hate when people do that, because it wasn't funny. I mean, the memes were funny. Watching like the deep fake covers of, or like the CGI covers of what's his name? The fish guy from Shark Tales, voiced by Will Smith, slapping is it Artie, the zebra from Madagascar. I thought that was quite funny, but the actual, like, slap itself, I just thought was, really, you were laughing. You kind of changed your tune there because you were laughing at the joke. So any like imitations of that in fiction, I'm just like, okay. And it was quite an embarrassing moment as well. Like, yeah, I just found it really, really cringy. And I think that's been the sort of the general consensus with the Knight family. George's fight scenes were laughably bad. I don't rate George as a fighter at all. I think they tried to build him up as this massive, ex-boxer, former champion, and it just didn't land. I thought the underground fight club scenes were... There was one good one, and the other one was pretty meh, if I'm being honest. I just don't rate George as a fighter or as a hard man. I just think he's also for mixing these. But all right, I'm all open for this. I was kind of hoping for a Carter versus Knights feud, but that's probably never going to happen now. I think she'll have a fear of water and refuse to take baths a lot. I like that because it's a bit of a callback to when he first arrived. Because obviously Shirley tried to drown him, and he had a bit of a... It should be more drastic than before. Yeah. because technically speaking, you know, the trauma of being washed up, physically washed up, or being found, it'd be quite intense, wouldn't it? And I think it'll make more sense. I feel like it'll make much more sense, and I feel like it'll be a beginning. You could kind of have a story. I like what they did in 2014 with the story of Mick kind of overcoming his fears. I thought that was a very good storyline. You know, a lot of men, myself included, have a fear of drowning and you know, water in that sense. Me, I've always been more of a shower guy, but it'd be a good story to touch upon again. You know, because I feel like it was kind of forgotten about after what movie was it? After the New Year episode in 2016 with, you know, the wedding and Mick versus Dean. Then after a week of his return, I have a special episode which takes place in 2022 during the aftermath of getting out of the water. I think that's a brilliant idea. In fact, EastEnders kind of did something similar-esque with the Zoe storyline. And whilst I think that storyline is a bit of a bag of arse, I did like that they did that 2006 like flashback. I liked it because you've got so much history there. You've got to kind of see what happens immediately after they left, just so you can kind of start picking up the pieces from there and telling the story. I think that'd be a great, because you could, to be fair, you could have an episode taking place in 2022, and you can almost do like a like every 10 minutes every 10 minutes of the episode is like a year or two into the future, because you've got to also consider where was Mick when Dean came back on the square, where was Mick when Keanu died and, you know, Linda was going through that, where was Mick during the relapse, where was Mick during the Queen Vic explosion. But I feel like if you do that, you know, start off in 2022 immediately as to how he survived, that would be a brilliant way to kind of pick things up again. And I just think it'd be really cool, and I think that's a great idea, mate. I think Zoe's return was a bit of a disappointment, but the action didn't disappoint. Yeah, Zoe, to be fair, one thing about dislikable characters is there's a lot of action that comes with it. The amount of times Max Branning's been hit, the amount of times you know, an Emmerdale, Robert Sugden has, or David Platt in Corrie, it's like, or Ben Mitchell in 2019. Zoe's been slapped around a fair bit since getting back, and I don't think it's going to slow down, if I'm honest. I think it's going to ramp up. In fact, I can probably see a bit of a bust up soon between Kat and Zoe and whoever is stalking Zoe, or if she's even being stalked, because Anthony reckons that Zoe's having a psychotic break, which if they do that, I think that'd be a good idea, to be fair. That'd be a good twist to take the show in, if it turns out Zoe's actually just having a psychotic breakdown. I feel that'll bring some sort of humanity or humility back to Zoe, rather than her just being some obnoxious, overgrown woman child, which is kind of how she's acting at the moment. But I do think it's quite possible that they'll want to sort of address the whole stalker thing, and hopefully some action will come with that. I don't actually care. The thing is, I don't even care about who the stalker actually is. I don't care. I haven't got any investment. At least with as disappointing, it was still better than the Gray Atkins 3-year stuff. Yeah, that, oh my god. I was talking to, I commented on Danny May's post the other day, asking questions about, you know, he said ask him anything about soaps. I asked him what was your favourite storyline during the COVID years, because, you know, the industry, the soap genre was kind of hit in quite a specific way with that. So I asked him, well, what was your favourite thing to come out of that before they went back to normal in like mid to late 2021? And his answer was the originally the domestic abuse storyline, but how they messed it up by turning Grey into a serial killer. And that just, it kind of hit home with me, because that storyline could have been one of the best they've ever done. Particularly a modern take on domestic abuse, because I feel like every experience of it is different. It's why they tell it so many times from different perspectives. And it just really upset me how they went about it. Because yes, unfortunately, some domestic abuse cases end in the victim dying. And I just feel like having him kill again, and having him kill again after that, just demeaned the whole value of that story. And it was quite disgusting, to be honest. Like, you might as well have had him kill someone else. You might as well have had him kill 2 other people. Because even then, just having him kill Tina, just 2 months after Chantel, that was just ridiculous. Like, it was just ridiculous. I knew Louisa Bradshaw White was leaving anyway, because it'd been announced like 2 months prior that she was leaving the show. But having to go out like that cemented that storyline as degrading from a domestic abuse story, which is already a really intense subject and one that you need to take a lot of care in, into a full-blown serial killer story. And I just think that was ridiculous. Like, I wouldn't say we've had a full-on serial killer since Grey Atkins, because obviously, alright, yeah, Reese killed his wife, Ravi's killed Nish and Rambir, but Reese never killed anyone after Debbie, and both of the Ravi's not killed anyone outside of either self-defense or provocation. I wouldn't class Ravi as a serial killer, because he doesn't do it on the regular. Like, that was 3 years between both of his kills, whereas with Grey it was a matter of months between each. I think it was 2 months between Chantel and Tina. I think about 5, maybe, yeah, about 5 months between Tina and Kush. So I feel like the show's scared to do a serial killer storyline now because of that. I don't think they should do another one. I hate serial killer storylines. I really do. There's been far too many in the last few years. You've had Mina, you've had Steven, you've had Jez on Hollyoaks. I just think it's ridiculous. I'm not a fan of serial killer storylines. They're just, I don't know. I'm not a fan. Just not a fan. Yeah. I mean, if they were to do another serial killer story, it'd have to be a character that's like relatively new. I mean, Joel could have made a serial killer, but then I feel like that'd just be demeaning the incel storyline. Or the misogyny one, I don't know what that... I call it the incel storyline because that is what he is. There's no two ways. He's a dirty little incel. And I don't apologise for calling him dirty, because that's just my stance. I think all incels, all people that are bitter because, you know, society's actually progressed, I just think they're dirty. So I make no apologies for calling Joel a dirty little incel. But yeah, I feel like Joel could have, I suppose, made the case for killing, but then again, he'd just be killing the likes of you know, younger female characters. It'd be quite predatory, to be honest with you. And I'm going to be honest, Amy Mitchell is probably one of my favourite characters on the show. One, because I think she's played by an absolute legend, Ellie Dabb. And two, she's the daughter of Roxy Mitchell. I don't think she'd be murdered that way. Joel turned out the way he was because of his mum, but I still turned out the way it was because of his mum. I believe that, but still isn't an excuse to be. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I can understand, you know, I can't relate because fortunately I have got a solid relationship with my mum. We do clash at times, but at the same time, when you are very much similar to your parent in one way, you're going to clash. One way or another, you're going to clash. But at the same time, there's people I've met who have little to no relationship with their mothers, and they are still top standing, you know, respectful, decent blokes. So I just don't see it as an excuse. Like, and to be honest, I just think that the show trying to justify, or not justify, but try and explain Joel's actions through the whole his mum walked out thing, just thought it was silly, and I think it's quite dangerous as well, because, you know, I think everyone involved should be taking responsibility in that. I feel like Ross should be taking a lot more responsibility. And to be honest, I found that little scene out in the square where he's like, "Oh, well, you don't know what it's like. You don't know what your kids are watching. Blah 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 blah." And it was like panning over to Ian, and like I just couldn't see. I could kind of see the correspondence, but at the same time, I just thought, "You're his dad. You're his dad. Why are you? You know, your son's a criminal. Like, stop feeling sorry for yourself and step up and disown him. Like, you gave him chance after chance. Like, you kept saying these things. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You did fuck all, mate. You know, like, I don't know. I just don't like Ross as a character. I think he's quite... I don't even know like how to describe him. I just think he's quite abrupt, and I feel like there's a lot of... I could see where Joel got it from. I don't fully trust Ross as a character. I don't. I feel like there's an edge to him which we haven't seen yet, and I feel like it's going to be quite nasty. Maybe he's his serial killer. Maybe, I don't know. But at the same time, there was just an edge to him that I didn't like. I didn't like. He's still on the show, but I don't trust him. I don't, especially the way he got with Vicky. Yeah, because he was Spencer's best mate, and you know did the deed behind his back with Vicky. I'm like, I don't trust that. I don't trust relationships that do that. I really don't. Particularly when it's like our best mate, you know. But I don't know. Like, I don't trust him, and I think Joel is a silly, pathetic little. Watching clips from EastEnders 2022, and that year was a tough year to get through. The thing that really got under my skin with that year was Mick and Janine. It made no sense. It was a complete assassination of both characters. Like, honestly, it was such a stupid... I get it. They were tasked with writing Danny Dyer's exit storyline. And the original pitch was just better. It was more devastating, you know, having Mick go out by suicide. But it made more sense. I know I'm so grateful they left the door open. But at the same time, it did a disservice to the character right up until the last minute. You know, Mick getting back with Linda, Mick leaving Janine, and then going back into the sea for Linda. That was the first bit of like that felt like the first time we'd seen Mick Carter since the end of the Abuse storyline. Because I don't know what they did. They just butchered the character. They got such a perfect and beautifully written storyline. They got that down to a T, and they just didn't know what to do afterwards. And I feel like it was that moment when Danny was like, "Well, what more can I do?" So he obviously, you know, he decided not to renew his contract, and they just had no idea what to do. They had some loose ends to tie with the Tina killing, and obviously they broke Mick and Linda up again for like the 70th time. And this time it's like, oh well, rather than getting them back together straight away, we're going to have them Mick with Janine, which was such a stupid pair. And I'm sorry, but it was so dumb. It was such a stupid pairing. It made no sense. I think Danny Dyer and Charlie Brooks have great chemistry as mates. I thought the little back and forth banter as mates was quite funny. You know, bearing in mind that Charlie Brooks is quite a charismatic actress. But having a get together with Mick was just not all that. It was quite terrible. I know some other really crap storylines from that year. I didn't like the I thought Ravi's introduction was cool, but I didn't like the whole Kira, Stacy and Ravi thing. Personally, I think that should have been the year that Stacy and Martin got back together, because again they had a similar situation with Mick and Linda where they dragged it out for such a long time, and then right as the 40th anniversary hits, they get back together and one of them dies. At least with Mick and Linda, as allegedly or supposedly dies, rather than a definitive no, he's dead. Yeah, 2022 wasn't a great year. If I'm being honest with you, I don't think there's been an amazing year for EastEnders in a while. There's always been something about each year that's been quite... I think 2023 was alright. It was alright, you know, the Six storyline was decent, at least the build-up to it. The aftermath of it was... Oh, that was awful. That was actually... Literally from... Sorry, my throat's getting a little bit sore. I only ever talk this much after doing a vocal warm-up, and I'm not that dedicated to the streams, I'm afraid. But the aftermath to Six was just... Oh, that was awful. Then again, 2023 had some crap storylines with Stacey and Jack. Because I thought Stacey was having an awesome year in terms of growth and development, and then boom, she shags another Brannon. I'm like, oh, all that development was gone down the pot. Don't get me wrong, okay, I'm gonna say it. I think Lacey Turner is absolutely gorgeous. I know she's like old enough to be my mum, but I get it. I can see why Affair storylines and Stacey Slater kind of go hand in hand, because he's just got that kind of appeal. But one, it being another Branning. Two, it being, you know, what's up with Stacey and Branning's like a train, choo-choo. Yeah, I can say the same with Jack and the Mitchell women. I don't get it. It's quite creepy, if I'm being honest with you. Because I don't think someone would actually do that. It's creepy and it's unrealistic. Like, I don't think... Alright. What time are we on? We're after... Right. 10 to 11. I can talk about this and not feel like I'm being overly crude. It's going to be Oscar next. Oh God, that'd be awful. I personally wouldn't sleep with anyone... Well, I wouldn't sleep with one person and then another person in that same family. I couldn't do it. I genuinely, wholeheartedly couldn't do it. It feels wrong. It feels very wrong. You know, and bearing in mind, this isn't just like a cousin or something. This isn't like a distant cousin. This is a brother and a son and, you know... a father-in-law type situation. You're sleeping with someone who's had a kid, whilst you're sleeping with the same, you know, the kid as you know, both adults, but also the person who the person or your husband's dad's brother. That just feels like a super STD in the making. That feels like a super, like that's like super syphilis. Honestly, it grosses me out. I couldn't imagine sleeping with someone, then sleeping with that person's mum, and then sleeping with that person's auntie. That would be the same scenario. I couldn't do it. No. Like, it's too much. That's far too much. I think that is actually quite predatory. Oh, it just grosses me out. Like, I actually feel... I can feel it in my throat now, just thinking about it. Don't think about it. I really couldn't. Oh, that's disgusting. That is disgusting. That actually makes me want to retch. Yeah, moving on from that, because the thought, that's disgusting. I don't like the idea of, you know, slut shaming Stacey, because I do think, whilst I'm not a fan of it, I do think it's okay to have promiscuous characters, because there are promiscuous people in real life. I think it's okay to have that kind of representation. I don't think it should be branded as slut shaming, especially when Stacey became a cam worker. I don't think that should be stigmatized. It's something that happens, and given the circumstances of Stacey's storyline and that branch of the Slater family that she was leading, it made sense, because obviously Lily was pregnant, they were having money struggles, and, you know, they weren't earning enough to sustain it. So Stacey turned to another job, and it is one that, you know, that it is the oldest form of work, or at least that kind of work. So I got it. But at the same time, I feel like there's times where it just feels a bit far-fetched. Like, I wouldn't have been surprised if Max was, whilst he was away, I wouldn't be surprised if Max caught wind and subscribed to Stacey's OnlyFans type account. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I'd be grossed out by it, but at the same time, I wouldn't put it past him. Yeah. But at the same time, I won't judge Stacey without judging Jack, because first of all, shagging two sisters and a cousin, that feels like gonorrhea on crack. I'm sorry, but shagging two sisters and a cousin, and it's a first cousin as well. Yeah, no, it's a first cousin. Two sisters and a first cousin. Like, it's just gross. Like, stop it with the incest. Or not the incest. It's not really incest, but it's like keeping it in the family. Oh, that sounds like incest. I don't know what it's called. Like when he's shagging multiple family members of the same family. Or not your. Oh, that sounds even worse. I'm dead. I should be dead saying this stuff. Oh my, honest to God. Honest to God, I should have my stream. I should have my channel shut down for this, but no, I shouldn't, because it's an honest opinion. Like, it's just something. It's just weird. Something weird about it. It's just weird. Like, I couldn't imagine. You know, like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It's just gross. It's gross. It's cringy. I'm saying all this, I'm playing as probably the most sexually charged character in the Marvel franchise right now with Deadpool. But all aboard the Stacey train, only Brannings. Oh God. Oh God. See, genuinely speaking, I think Lacey Turner is a stunning actress, and I think, you know, she's aged like fine wine. But at the same time, just leave the young version of Stacey she was in the past with, you know, don't have a shag anymore, Brannings, please. Please, no more Brannings. Her best relationship, I thought, was Martin until she cheated on him with Max. I thought the first sort of like 2 years were pretty good of Stacey and Martin, and it just all kind of went downhill. Because if I'm not mistaken, were Martin and Stacey not together when she hooked up with Kush? I still think she should have told him, like, straight away, look, I shagged Kush. That's still wrong as well, because I'm pretty sure Kush was with Shabnam, who was Stacey's best mate, and again, it's also fucking best mate. Honest to God, it's just... Oh... Yeah. I'm gonna be honest here, right? As much as I hate affair storylines, as much as I hate, you know, who's the dad and all that kind of storyline, all those kind of storylines, I do think they bring a very serious issue of just the trouble that sex can bring. And I'm not saying that as, you know, as a virgin, but at the same time, because I'm not, but at the same time, it does kind of highlight a real issue as to what that issue, like, subject can bring. Because there's a lot of drama that can come with that. I'm actually quite annoyed that they haven't done an STD storyline in a long time. I think the last one they did was with Lee Carter, when he slept with Abby Brannon. Again, it's always a fucking Brannon. And he caught chlamydia. No. Ben caught chlamydia, gave it to Abby. Lee and Abby did it. Lee got it, and then Lee and Whitney did it, and then Whitney got it while she was pregnant with Lee's kid. I think they need to kind of touch upon that again, because that was nearly 10 years ago now, and I think STDs, or at least like normalize getting checked for STDs, because it's such it's always pregnancy, and I get it, because with pregnancy it's more of there's more longevity to a pregnancy storyline than there is an STD one. Plus, it also breeds no pun intended there, but a fair storyline ends in murder. That would be a good one. That would be a game changer. Honestly, I think that should have been how Cindy and Junior finished. That honestly should have been the conclusion to that storyline. I feel like it should have been that Cindy kills Junior after the affair came out, because I can see her doing it. She tried to have Ian killed. She shot Ian as well, but I feel like that would have been a game changer to have Cindy kill Junior. You know, kill her ex-husband's son. Oh, and another. What is it with freaking people's sons and dads? It's just gross. It's just gross, honestly. Like, just. It doesn't matter if it's sons and dads or mums and daughters. Just stop it. Stop it. It's gross. Grant Mitchell, he had an affair with Tiffany's mum. I remember that. Obviously, I wasn't alive when it happened, but I remember hearing about it. I remember seeing the clips. I'm like, stop it. It's gross. It's not funny. It's not cute. It's not romantic. It's just grim. It's grim and it's desperate. I'm like, just. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but if you're that desperate, just have a wank. Like, honest to God, like, it's happened so many times, I can't even comprehend it. It's so gross. It's actually grim, like, the amount of times it happens. And it's happened more times than I even thought, because I just realised that it happened with Grant. It's happened with Jack, Stacey, Cindy. I wouldn't be surprised if at one point we decide, oh, do you know what would be a good idea? George and Linda. I say that, they're probably going to do it now. But I'm like, no. You've been with Linda's mum. Don't go for Linda as well. I don't know. I could rant about it for days because it's just such a gross thing that the show's obsessed with. It's like, it's disturbing how much EastEnders is obsessed with this. Like, I think an affair, not that I endorse it, but if you're going to have an affair with someone, leave it out the family. I get it, people have affairs within the family. It's grim, it does happen. I don't think it should happen as much as they do on EastEnders. I feels like almost every affair tends to be with another family member of someone that you've been with. It's just gross. It's so gross, the amount of times it happens. And I just think, like, what do they get out of this? It's not, like, gripping drama. It's just grim. The only drama that I'm gripping onto from any of that is my bloody TV remote to change it over for a bit and stop cringing, or at least pause it so I can go down for a vape and just calm down from the cringe. Actually, fucking gross, man. Like, just don't shag family members. Just don't. You know. Oh, God. Normalise dating apps for this reason, please. I mean, Max Branning could probably get through... He could probably get 50 matches. You get 50 likes a day on Tinder. I'm not on it anymore. That's the only reason I know that. You can get 50 matches a day on Tinder. Or 50, like, swipes a day on Tinder. Max Branning could probably get all 50 and still pull, you know? He'd probably be dead at the end of it, or at least seriously ill with some kind of STI, but, you know, because that is... I made a joke about, you know, since Junior's leaving and Max coming back, it's like, he is the ultimate top shagger. Like, no one, I think, has a higher body count in EastEnders history than Max. And it's funny. I find it funny, but I also find it pretty cringe. And I try and use humour to cope with that cringe, because it's just... If you look at it, you just think, like, what the hell? Like, in my opinion, it gets to a point where when you reach a certain age, it's not funny anymore. It's just, or it never was funny, but it's more understandable at a younger age. But the older you get, it's like, oh. And with the same family members, Max and the Slaters, Stacey and the Brannings, Jack and the Mitchell women, it's just, it just becomes a bit much. And I'm like, please stop. Or better yet, get yourself checked out, because, or surely there's going to be some kind of genetical crossover. I don't know, but it's just gross. It's been a very X-rated stream. I do apologise. It's very X-rated. Jesus. It's probably a good thing I stream mostly after 9 o'clock anyway. I just can't bring myself to talk about these things like before 9. It just feels a bit gross. But yeah, haha, don't worry, mate. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that, because it's something I'm not like taking the mick or anything, but it's a genuine thing. It just gets under my skin. I just find it so cringy and just gross. Like, it's just, I don't know. I've had this issue with the show for a long time, but I think the last couple of years have really kind of brought it out of me. It's been constant. And I want to be done with it. I want to be done with the whole, oh no, I'm shagging my sister's brother, I'm shagging me, you know, me, I don't know, me son-in-laws, or just me son-in-law, I don't know, like, it's just gross. Just fuck off with it, please, make it stop, make it go away. I can't be handling it. Honest to God. But yeah, sorry, I'm yawning. I think that might be a cue for me to clock off now. I've done my stream shift. I do it like maybe once a week or something. And to be fair, I streamed last night as well. So, in all fairness, it's been quite a good stream. Just being back. Next week, what's on next week? Right. Actually, I'm going to do a bit of a sort of kind of esque announcement thing. Streams, I'm not going to make any promises for the next couple of weeks. I'll tell you why. The reason why I'm not going to make any promises is because we are now officially in November. As of today, it's November the 1st. Show week is approximately less than 3 weeks away. So, for me, that'll be... I mean, this is normally a weekend thing anyway. I don't like to do midweek streams because I'm always busy with, rehearsals, with uni stuff. But particularly with the next couple of weeks, as I'm also going to be starting my placement. So, I will try and aim for... I won't make any promises, but if I can, Saturday night streams. And I'll try and do them after 9 o'clock as well, just so we can kind of be a bit more free with the stuff we want to talk about. Obviously, certain subjects. Tonight was more of a, bit of a piss take. And the language will probably be a bit more fruitier as well. Nothing too extreme, but, I assume we're all adults here. That's why I'm kind of, I know Godfather of Soaps, I know you're definitely an adult. So I can have these conversations, and it's funny, it's great. I've actually had, despite the cringing over the sort of self-realization of what we're talking about, it's funny. I get a laugh out of it. I don't want to be like demeaning, don't want to be degrading. I try and see the humour in it rather than be critical and risk upsetting people, because I don't like upsetting people. Never have done, never will like upsetting people. But for the next few weeks, I'm going to try and go for Saturday night streams. There might come a point where let me get my calendar. Because there will be a point where there's absolutely no streams. For at least... Yeah, I'll get my calendar. Saturday the 22nd, there'll be no stream at all. Because that is the day my family are coming to watch Death of a Salesman. It's my last day in Death of a Salesman. It's my last production. So I'll be going out, hopefully, that night. Or at least having some food with my family. Seeing them for a bit, catching up for a bit. And then, there'll be no stream on that day. The 8th and the 15th, we might get some streams in. I'd like to be honest, because I don't go out. It's just not something I do anymore. I'm not that interested in going out. These streams have been much more fun for me than getting drunk and making a fool of myself, or being risk my safety and my health around dodgy people. So the 8th and the 15th, I feel like there's a possibility. The 22nd, absolutely not. I do apologise. 29th is after that, where we'll be starting on the next module. I'll kind of play things by ear. I'll definitely play things by ear. I'd like to do some more streams. I can only promise that those are the days that'll be done though, because during the week I'm very much, I'm very occupied with uni. But with that being said, we're going to bring the stream to a close here. It's been absolutely brilliant. I've had an awesome time. It's been very funny. It's been very exciting. Talking about the upcoming Lego sets. I didn't talk about much, but at the same time, that's what these streams are for. They're to chat. there to not take things too seriously, a place to have a laugh, have a bit of fun, and hopefully just wind down a bit. So that is it from me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Whether you've been hopping in on the live chat, much like the absolute legend that is Godfather of Soaps, massive shout out to him. Please go check out his channel. He brings some of the most incredible work, and I'm honoured to not only call him one of my best mates on YouTube, but also one of the best channels on the platform. Genuinely, absolutely idolise that bloke. To anyone else who's watching this, either watching the VOD, because I always keep them up and I never delete VODs. Thank you so much, and I hope you all stay safe, have an amazing weekend, and be safe on Bonfire Night next week. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.